Bang. And she works. Big. Massive. Alrighty, so I mean, hey, that means my day's going pretty good. How about you guys? We're in the afternoon for Eastern time. Let me see what time it would be for any EU. Time in Germany. 8 p.m. I mean, how was your day? Now we just hope that Cesaro was happy with your coaching. He is such a nice guy. Like the only bad people I've ever coached have always been the indoor losers of League of Legends, you know? Anyone that has massive complaints or massive spite, things like that. It's never been the older guys that are accomplished in their careers and also do something physical, which Cesaro just hard 1v9s all three of those. And he's so normal. Like, I've talked to Darshan a little bit. Darshan is massively normal, and it freaks me out. Because on the indoor loser aspect, I align probably 40% indoor loser, maybe 60% normal. We're not totally there. But we try. Did I do the notification right too? Let me see. One sec. Class alert. Oh, one sec. Class reminder. ADC fundamental mechanics lesson starting now. And you may be asking, what am I doing? I'm trying to find my window again. Trying to find my Twitch chat. Now this bad boy doesn't let you pop out the Twitch chat like you usually can, so I have to just alt tab back and forth because I only use one monitor. Because I'm an old man, you have to give me time. Where's my where's my Twitch chat? My GF locked me in the house this morning and took my key with her. Seems like you're going to be on house sitting duty. Good as well. I had the flu and I'm back and able to grind. Nice. Cesaro would be able to have Big Show. Dude, he picks up the Big Show, swings him around. He could kill like 10 of me at once. Who's the ex-WWE star? Let me show you. Let me give you a lesson right here. Do Cesaro, WWE. The big man. I've coached this guy. He mained Psy on top. I got him to play Set for a little bit. And Set would have been so funny if he would have stuck with it. Suplex. But now he plays support. He took a big break because he transferred from WWE into another wrestling thing. So he's been working for most of the middle part of the year. Weakest weakest Lulu main. Seal versus Evan, I give Evan a pretty good chance to win. I'm pretty sure Evan has like muscle weight over Seal. I don't know what the height difference is, but I give it to Evan. He probably wins on points at least. Love the guy. I saw him live. Damn, dude, WWE live would be so fun. Alrighty, so today we'll be talking about ADC mechanics. And if you get any of the questions wrong, I will have Cesaro personally come find you and support you in the bot lane because he plays support. Alrighty. Let's see, what are we doing here? So, let me bring up this bad boy, and then during the presentation, you can do the hand raise thing. I will do my best to look at the chat, but I may miss something within like 2 or 3 minutes, but that's fine. So, how to have more control on ADC. A pretty important part of ADC in which if we are if we're a little floaty, slow guy, we'll just move into a bunch of bad stuff, and that's not where we want to be. We want to be the guy that is able to totally have control in the most literal sense. Because if a basic example I could give is like whenever you're running into the bad guys, right? If you can't stop yourself, you don't have control. Like you don't have the juice. And there's something that you have to build up with this. A lot of things I'm going to cover are going to be a combination of one, knowing them, two, practicing them, and then three, combining that practice into experience and understanding. So really assimilating it to where it becomes automatic. Because the first two stages are the most awkward part. And that's the part that I hate the most about anything in gaming is getting over the knowledge hurdle into the practice hurdle into bam, it's automatic. Once I get to the automatic part, I'm not going back. I'm not going back into Dante's Inferno so that I have to like figure out how to do my auto attacks good again. So that's a big part. Like you want to get to that third step as fast as possible. All right, so what do you guys think are the three fundamental things of mechanics on ADC? Let me know in the chat now. We got kiting, we got positioning, we got combos. Think more basic. You're close. Mouse click, keyboard strokes. Too deep or too basic. Go a little bit higher. Let's just focus on in game. What the champion does. And we're talking about the mechanics, not so much the fundamentals of the role itself. So what does an ADC do? What are their inputs? What are their attacks? And there's three things here. And we actually nobody's listed them yet. Let me see. Okay, I can give Fence. Is that how I pronounce this? One sec. Fentes. Fentes.
Fentes.
Fentes. Google Translate said so. Fentes is close with right click. I'll give you that one. The first one is an auto attack. Okay? Big. What's the second one? There's three parts here. We got one, auto attack. Abilities. Now we're talking, baby. Alrighty, and what's the third thing? We're auto attacking, we're using our abilities, and what else? The fundamentals. And moving. What, you guys just one-shot them out of... Okay. Well played. Alrighty, auto attacks. Let me go to the next slide. I'm a professional. Bang, 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 bang. Oh wait, my bad. We're going to be going over the basics of mechanics, how to improve on the mechanics, and then we'll recap. Thank you. Alrighty. So here is the basics of... Wait. Here we go. The basics that we're working with here. Our auto attacks, our abilities, and our movement. Should I start right here? I'm a professional. So, why do you guys think that we need to master these things on ADC? They're the first steps. We could skip these steps. I'm sure you've seen, especially your lower ranked player friends, or maybe you're the lower ranked player yourselves. If you don't have a handle on these things get pretty messy, right? So why would you want to master these bad boys? Rather than just skipping them. Let's say I just get good CS, but my auto attack sucks, my movement sucks, and my ability cast sucks. Okay? If I get good CS on ADC though, I get a lot of items. But then it comes mid game, right? And then I'm walking into the bad guys on Ashe, and I just get gabinked, Olaf with 10 kills. Honk. Who's an OP champion? Graves. Graves comes out of the jungle just auto Q ulti. Because ADC can be the most demanding champion role. True. One mistake equals death. So there's a big consequence to not having a handle on these. And if, let's say the yin to the yang, right? If there's a consequence, then there's also a reward. So on both ends of the spectrum, if we tighten these bad boys up, then we bring them closer together. And whenever they're closer together, then we have a lot more control. Less bad, more good? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You have more DPS? True. So, one thing that I like about this whenever you get better at the mechanics too on ADC is that it's more fun. The losing less part is, I'm so used to this part because I've been in gaming for 5,000 years. I'm the oldest man alive. So, yeah, I know that the losing part sucks, but it's not as infuriating to me as it is to, say, a newer player. But then this part of like getting better and being able to go ham, that's the fun part to me. And I like to get to this part, which is the end, as soon as possible. So, whenever we refine these things, which are the fundamentals, and get them really, really solid, then you can start going ham. You can start looking like Faker with your APM going a billion miles per hour. So, it's more fun. It's more fun and it's better and it's less bad. Alrighty, do I have anything else good here? The auto attacks, the abilities, the movements. And then how to improve on them. We'll get into that later, but basic questions is like, do you need to improve? Back to the, if we were just CSing, even if you CS, even if you get a lot of farm, even if the game is handed to you on a silver platter, you're playing Kai'Sa, your Nautilus gets 3 kills for you. If you don't have the mechanics, if you don't have the schmovement, and you can't use your abilities right, then it doesn't matter. You're a damage champion that needs to be able to deal damage. And part of the consequence of dealing damage is that you need to not take damage. So if we bring these two together, tighten it up, have a little bit of resolve, and then we get a lot of, like, you get a ton of value for it. And then you also avoid a bunch of stupid things like this. No, actually, I'm pretty good, but my support sucks or my team sucks. You know, we can really focus on the single player aspect of League of Legends in which, you know, you take it, you do it truthfully, really. Alrighty. So the fundamental mechanics here, we have the auto attack. The auto attack is a fixed distance. Your champion has a finite auto attack range. And a lot of champions break these rules in different ways, especially the newer ones. But if you go all the way back to a basic champion such as Ashe, she's a long range champion that uses that long range advantage to then get an auto attack over the enemy. If you're auto attacking the enemy once and they're not auto attacking you back, then you've won the trade. Do that 10 times and you're starting to win the lane. Do that 20 times and you've probably killed the lane opponent. Kill the lane opponent 2 times and you've won your lane and you've set yourself up to really win the game. And you can turbo space glide and look cool. An auto attack has a wind up or a wind down. And then this animation can be canceled. So a common example would be you auto attack and then you move. So Kai'Sa auto attacks, and then if you click, then you can cancel the wind down part of the animation. So there's ways to speed that up. And the bad player simply auto attacks and stands there, right clicks and lets go of that mouse and keyboard. It will work itself out. And they're just standing there, right? So they auto attack, they stand there, the enemy moves away, and then once the enemy moves out of range, then the auto attack part takes over and the ADC will move into the enemy. So your movement can be manipulated by the auto attack itself. So not only do you want to cancel it so that it's not bad, you want to cancel it so that you can do a little good. So you avoid the not bad part of moving into the enemy because they moved away, therefore moving into their team, their minion wave, the turrets, Godzilla himself. Alrighty, and then the good part is that you can get more damage and more distance if you cancel the auto attack wind up or wind down after you initiate it. And you do that with the movement. And if you're doing that forward, Kai'Sa autos, she moves forward, you can maybe get more damage off. And then we have the abilities. The abilities for an ADC are usually pretty basic. There's something like a direct skill shot in front of you, or extra damage on around you, or a on-hit modifier in a way. That's usually how the ADC abilities go. So what the abilities change fundamentally for the ADC is that it resets the auto attack animation, or you have something to deal damage during that auto attack. Ashe auto attacks and then presses W. The bad Ashe auto attacks, doesn't let the auto attack wind up first, and then presses W, canceling her own auto attack and shooting the W. That's not, that's how you can do it as bad as possible if you wanted to. And then they deal more damage or provide utility. That's the basics of any ADC. If you're having a hard time thinking about it too, you could just look at the basic one, the basic ADC champions such as Ashe and Misfortune. Misfortune especially, her Q, a little bit of an auto attack reset and a little bit of damage. It has this funny bounce effect too. And then the W, movement speed and attack speed. That's awesome. So it's part of the utility. And then the E giving her a slow. That's awesome. Like it's so basic. Uh, and then we have movement. The direction plays into intention. So if you're going forward or backwards, or if you're in the middle. And when you're in the middle is where it gets very interesting for ADC. The movement also gates your auto attack range. So if you're too far forward or you're too far back, then you're going to be in or out of range of things. And the common mistake is being just that, where you're too far forward or too far back, because if you're too far back, you can't hit the enemy. You have to move into them. If you're moving into the enemy, you lose. You're moving into an Ezreal queue. You can't win. Whereas if you're standing in a neutral position and then the enemy moves into range, then you can hit them. You can hit them and then use an ability. And whenever you're moving into the enemy, then you're going to be taking damage. But if you have more HP than the enemy, then you can win. Alrighty, any questions, any thoughts on these three things, the auto attacks, the abilities, and the movement? Who like right clicking, huh? Personally, I haven't even right clicked like a champion in so long. I use the A click or the attack range indicator and then I left click. Even when I'm doing the jungle camps. That's just how I operate. The right clicks themselves, nah, that's all movement right there. It's all movement. Who up right clicking real fast? Then you can't use target champions only. I know, I know. And I'm pretty bad at using attack move even when I press down the target champions only. But the turret dives are pretty simple. The only time I really use target champions only, as a jungler at least, is when I'm doing turret dives. But ADC, good luck. Harder time. Target champions only and moving, and attacking, and dodging skill shots, and hitting your abilities, and flaming your support in the middle of all of it. Found my attack move click to my left mouse button. That's a bit much, personally. Like back in the day when you had Kog'Maw attack speed. But then again, Jinx just got buffed. Her attack speed can get insane. So maybe you could use it with that. Alrighty, did I skip anything here? Presentation expert right here. Alrighty, so more on auto attacks. A good auto attack looks like this. You hit the enemy and you don't get hit. When pro players talk about this, they'll talk about +1, like +2 -1. You get 2 hits for 1, and you're generally winning like that. Whenever you outrange the enemy ADC, this is much easier to do because you can walk into them first. And if they make mistakes, then you can hit them in the neutral position as well. Not moving into the enemy or their threat range. So again, if you're moving forward for an auto attack, then you're going to be moving into the minion wave, the enemy support, maybe the enemy jungler, maybe a turret, maybe a TP behind you, maybe a Pantheon ult behind you. Like a bunch of problems start arising. And this is where ADC players get frustrated. They're like, I have no initiative. And it's like, yeah, your champion doesn't do that. You're not the guy that goes forward first. So it's a whole lot of standing on a neutral line and manipulating the enemy. Whereas if you move into the enemy, then you're going to be taking an L generally. Some champions break this rule, such as Draven. Draven is designed around having more HP, more damage, and running right into the enemy with his W giving him movement speed and attack speed, as well as having these axes that count as like 1.5 auto attacks. So if Draven does auto-auto with 2 axes, and the enemy does auto-auto, Draven's won, because he basically got 3 autos off. So there are champions that break these fundamental rules, but if you play around them on the champions that do not, then things start to make sense, or at least you can start identifying the mistake that you're making moving too far into the enemy or their threat range. Now, with an ADC too, if you auto attack, then you're going to be aggroing the minions. So the classic bad ADC trait is something like moving past the minion wave, hitting the enemy, and then you have like 9 minions attacking you. A bunch of really angry caster minions attacking you for a long time. And they're going to stay attacking you because you move too far forward. So that's not good. And then single target abilities also do this, but not many ADCs nowadays have the single target abilities. There's like Misfortune Q that comes to mind. Everything else is usually skill shots. And then a good auto attack is not giving up CS, so you're not over trading onto the enemy. You're doing things in the right order. But if you, I guess whenever we talk about minion waves and whatnot, we can go deeper into that. Alrighty, and then bad auto attacks, moving into the enemy in their threat range, hitting the wrong target, or switching targets too often. Especially as we enter like a hyper carry ADC meta with champions like Jinx, Vayne, Kai'Sa, Xayah in a way. Like it's kind of shifting into that where tank junglers are also becoming viable. But whenever you switch targets, then you've switched your DPS. And so much of what ADC does is they keep hitting the same thing over and over and over until that dies. And if one target dies, even if it's the weakest target, then it gives everyone a little bit more power. You have a numbers advantage right off the bat. But if you don't finish off a target, then things get really wrong, or your team can't finish them off if you didn't deal enough damage. But that kind of becomes tricky if you're forced to hit the front line and in a losing position, but whenever you're in a losing position, it's not too important. But if you're switching targets too often, let's say even more basic in the laning phase, whenever you're 2v2ing, if your Nautilus engages onto Ashe and you're playing Kai'Sa, and you get Ashe to 20% HP, and then you start hitting a full HP Leona, you have a problem, okay? You're not going to ever, ever, ever finish off that full HP Leona. So staying on the same target makes it a whole lot more concise. Alrighty, any questions on auto attacks? Any thoughts? Listen, we don't even have to have questions. Anyone like right-clicking? Let's see. Right-click. Of course there would be no emote. Attack. Oh wait, we got this one. Check it out. Bang. I A-click. Blue gun affilios, right-click R. Boom. I bomb them. I only play Cassiopeia and spam E. What is right click? That's the one that moves you. He throws a smaller snake. Oh wait, my bad. And then we got abilities. What does a good ability look like? When you hit it. Thank you. Thank you. When you hit the enemy and don't get hit. But listen, don't knock this one because there's no avoiding it. Whenever you're hitting the enemy more times with more abilities, then you're simply building up more damage against them, and that gives you a lane advantage. A common, or a pretty basic ADC that I can give an example on this would be Varus. Varus cast his E and Q very often on the enemy, and the more of those bad boys you land, the better. So, whenever that's the case, then but the thing is, how do you land the abilities more? Well, it's gonna come in from your movement down here. So until then, not moving into the enemy. Again, if you're moving into the enemy to land the abilities, then you're gonna have a bad time. Think of Xayah moving into the enemy to press Q, and then Nautilus hooks her in the face. Versus if she stood still, let the Ezreal move up, and then QE him. Better, a lot better. And then choosing to hit the enemy or the CS. The basic tip that I could give on this is whenever you're getting pushed in, then it's fine to CS the minions with your abilities. Whenever you have the push, never spend the abilities on the wave unless you are trying to crash. Never! Because if you have the push, then you can zone the enemy. If your abilities are up, you move past the wave, you zone the enemy. And then once they're zoned, if they move back into range, You shoot that ability at them, and you have a pretty good chance of hitting. You at least have like a 1 in 3 chance. And then we're really cooking. But if the enemy has zoned themselves and you just, why do ADC players do this? It goes all the way up to Challenger on every server, every single server, guys. The ADC will annihilate the minion wave with all of their mana and then not poke the enemy and then stay in lane. That is some of the worst stuff you can do. Oh, God bless. I'd risk it all to spend my entire mana bar to get that funny wave in, I tell you what. And then I'm staying in lane with 1,400 gold, baby. Who's the better man? Alrighty, and then bad abilities. You miss. You don't want to miss the abilities. Okay? Thank you. When the abilities are blocked by the enemy or minions, so that's usually just a fundamental error as well. If you're casting, say, an Ash W behind the enemy minion wave, the minions will block it, and then you've lost an ability. You've somewhat cast the ability on the waves, but if it's not hitting the enemy and they have hit you with an ability, then you're -1, going back to the ADC like trading pattern. And then if the abilities are overspammed, this happens across multiple turns of the lane. The first wave arrives, you Q once. The second wave arrives, you Q twice. The third wave arrives, you've Q'd 6 times, for example. Then it gets kind of messed up if you're spending too much mana at the wrong stages of the lane. Now, without specific examples, it's kind of hard to outline that. But I think if you have this in mind, that you're either looking to spend the abilities on the wave or the champions entirely during the laning phase, then it puts you in the right spot. So if you're getting pushed in, it can be fine to farm the wave until you're strong. Or if you're stronger than the enemy, you don't want to spend the abilities on the wave so that you have the mana to, one, like actually cast the abilities on the enemy, and then two, deal more damage to them. Because if you're stronger, you deal more damage to them, then you get a lane advantage from there. Trying to think when I started playing what ADCs I played like that. I would always run out of mana, but back then we had mana potions. So we had the biggest get out of jail free card. There's biscuits, but you give up something by running biscuits nowadays too. And either free boots, cosmic insight, or even like absolute focus and gathering, but let me look at the ADC champions. What was I playing in which I always ran out of mana? Why is Aurelion Sol listed? Why is Brand listed? Who's doing it weird? It had to be one of these basic ADCs because like half these champs didn't exist in like season 4. I think it was Lethality Misfortune. That was one of the champions that I played a lot of season 4, season 3. Because Lethality support Misfortune was a thing. And then I got pretty good at Misfortune, so then I ended up playing her in the ADC role as well. And with Misfortune, if you overspammed her E, you instantly lost the lane as ADC. Whereas on support, that was kind of the juice. Because if you don't put points into the E, that bad boy doesn't deal damage, and there's no reason to cast it. Draven mana felt bad? Yeah, I remember that. You didn't see Draven too often. Only good players could manage it. How is Aurelion Sol ADC? Hey man, it's 2023. Let him be who he wants to be. Yeah, Draven used to have a bleed passive. Anyone who said that they were Challenger like season 2 to, I don't know when they changed that. On Draven? Nah, man, Draven was Challenger, not you. Draven right-clicked the bad guy and broke the funny fundamental ADC rule of, if I walk into 2 people, I still win. That's awesome. That's really skillful, man. I mean, hey, we could check out the Aurelion Sol ADC, the win rate here. Let's see what he's up to. Alrighty. OCE, I see. OCE, they do it different. Was that why he was listed? Was I on OCE? I see, I see. We were this must be an Australian specific thing. Okay. Right. So if you go to Australia, you could try out Aurelion Sol ADC and let me know how it works out. Interesting. Oh, Sivir! Sivir ran out of mana too. You would spam the abilities on the wave, but if you didn't poke the enemy with your Q, you would always be out of mana, and then you were waiting to land the spell shield. That's what I was looking for. Dude, shout out to Sivir. That champion's an abomination. Oh, jeez. One of the 6 OCE players is an Aurelion Soul main, and no one plays ADC on that server. So he alone brought him forward. Alrighty, I pick Kaisa. What do you pick? I pick Blue Eyes White Dragon. Huh? What? Alrighty, and then the forgotten fundamental of ADC, the movement. If you don't move good, you're bad, okay? But there's hope for you because you can always look to schmoove a little better. And if you're not moving, you're losing. So what does good movement look like? It looks like not moving too far forward or too far backward. But Sawyer, where do I move? In the middle. There's always going to be this middle line in which you can move across. Let me go into practice tool real quick. It's a lot easier to show this bad boy. Okay, someone can pick my champion. The first champion name I see will be playing. Yeah, I gotta share my whole screen too. Rammus, the first ADC? The first ADC champion? Twitch. Kapshida. Nah, but I'm space gliding. Get the right runes quick. PTA Twitch question mark? Alright, Twitch, let's do this. Let's hit the montage clip. Get some boots, a little bit of this. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, our movement. Okay. So, you don't want to be too far forward. Whoops. So for too far forward, here we are. Imagine this is Cho'Gath with 7,000 HP, okay? We don't want to be where our auto attack range is past the Cho'Gath. Alrighty, can everyone see my screen fine as well? Give me a funny message in chat, let me know I'm in. Okay, thank you. Alright, we don't want to be too far... My bad. That's the key to delete Epic Pin off the screen, and it also killed Twitch. Rest in peace. And he's back at it, space gliding once again. We don't want to be too far forward, because every time that we're in range of the enemy, they can move right into us. If they're a melee champ, that just gets worse and worse. I gotta kill Twitch again. My bad. Sorry, Twitch. ADC moment, 0-2 in a practice tool. Poor guy. And you don't want to be too far back, so here's our auto attack range. Center of the screen here. Yep. Let's color in between the lines. Looking good, looking good. All right, here's our auto attack range. So whenever I'm too far back and the enemy's right there, this is what it looks like to attack them. And what's the problem with that? If I'm moving from there to there. Let me know in the funny chat. Think. Then you go forward and they hit you at the same time. Here's what it looks like again. Think. Now even worse, imagine I move forward. He's moved forward as well. I move forward. He's moved forward as well. And then I auto? Oh god. I don't want to be this close to this guy. Look at these circles too. Okay. Painting your auto attack range sounds genius. It's okay. You have to be center screen whenever you move your camera. It doesn't help. Helps for the example. Easy to hit. If they outrange you, they can always stand outside of your range and hit you if you have the micro for it. True, true. So if we're moving into someone with higher range, I've moved forward. I've moved forward. Caitlyn has already hit me once. L. I'm moving. I'm moving. Caitlyn has used her EQ on me now, and she's right here. Okay, I'm moving. I'm moving. She autoed me and pressed W. Okay, the W is right there. I'm moving. I'm moving. I got an auto attack, baby, and then I'm in the trap, and then she's headshot me, and has lethal tempo built up. Yeah, yeah. So whenever you move in, you present too much risk to yourself if the threat is available. The threat being the enemy's position, the enemy's abilities, and then their auto attacks. Pretty much in that order. So in a team fight, you're looking for your allies to be in front so that they can get the enemy's position, one, and then two, get the enemy's abilities on cooldown. Whenever the enemy has spent a lot of their abilities, it can be fine for you to go in and then attack them. Because even if the enemy jumps onto you, if Silas flashes on top of you, but he's on a 10-second cooldown, it doesn't matter. You're not going to go from full HP to 0. So you can auto-attack that bad boy. So we'd move forward, auto, auto. Silas flashes on top of us, auto, okay. And then we'll start using some sums and move around a little bit. And it's all chill, it's all good. And then once they're off cooldown again, that would be your time to then wait in a neutral position. So if you're right here, then we're waiting for Silas to then attack our allies. That would be right here. So we're waiting. Silas attacks our allies, spins a W, a Q, something, and then we can auto attack him again. And if he gets super low, then you could even press it forward and start trying to finish him off. Something like that. That's the basics of like manipulating the enemy, using your teammates, and things like that. Why did I come in? Oh yeah, the movement. Okay, my bad. The movement. Listen, let's focus on the movement. So, you don't want to be too far forward. That's bad. You don't want to be too far backwards. That's bad. So where do you want to be? Where you want to be in the middle, in which you're playing on a neutral line. So whenever you're doing this, you're keeping the auto attack range in range of the enemy here. So at any point moving up and down this line, I'm able to hit the enemy. And because of that, it gives me options. And with these options, then you're allowed to play. Because the enemy has to choose something right or wrong. And if they choose wrong, then you win. Let's say this is Ezreal. And we're moving up, and then Ezreal shoots the Q right there, and then we move down. We've now won, because he missed his Q. So we could auto attack, W, auto, move forward, auto, and then he's pretty screwed. We got the full stacks. You can do what you want from there. He hits us with the Q, he will not be killing us from full HP. Something like that. But whenever you play across the neutral line, way too many minions, or way too many dummies down there. Whenever you play across the neutral line, then it gives you options. And from those options is where you're allowed to outplay the enemy. Oops. Without having to dedicate yourself to anything major. So whenever you're in the lane, it looks something like this. You're moving it up and down. And then whenever you're in the side lanes like this, you can do the... well, you can move vertically, and then this actually moves the attack range like side to side. So, I'm sure you've played out lanes like this intentionally or not, but whenever you're moving like this across the vertical line, then you still get to move your auto attack range like this, so long that you don't move into the enemy. So if the enemy moves back to here, and then you move into them, then you've broken that fundamental rule again. All shifting along the axis. Does that make sense? Not does that make sense. You guys have any questions, any thoughts? Lane Cho'Gath top fight for you, but the enemy's when Set ults Cho'Gath out of the fight. How does he pick him up? That's my question. Like, yeah, Big Show gives him a little leap, but holy, like, bro. Yoink. That man's so strong. can't imagine Big Show's balls in my face. They gotta be big as well. He drinks milk? Probably a lot of it. He's European as well. So basically that means he probably eats a little healthier and then therefore is stronger, so. Yeah, I think he's from Switzerland. Alrighty, what was you saying with the movement? Oh yeah, the neutral line. Let me mute this bad boy. Alrighty, back to the presentation here. So our bad movement would be random, emotional, or picking one direction by default. The one direction by default is something I see a lot whenever I'm coaching low rank ADCs, which it's where everyone starts. The mistake that they have is either they're too defensive or they run into the bad guys and die every single time. And the real key is finding that middle ground, finding the neutral position that you can play on, and then really upholding that position. Because that position gives you options and you get to choose from there. And the choices you make then become your mistake or your win. But at least it's a good place to start from. And at least it doesn't totally win you or lose you the game by default. You have some input. So how do you improve on these things? Well, I think the first step is always acknowledging them. This is personally how I learn. Now, like the acquiring the knowledge, instantly applying it, becoming the guy of all time, that's cool and all. But personally, I like learn of an idea and then see examples of it and then just go into game and do it all wrong for quite some time. But every time I do it wrong, there's kind of a voice in the back of my head that was like, remember when you saw this, or like, this is the right way to do it, or here's the small thing to adjust. And it kind of tells me the mistake that I made. So I feel like that's part of the acknowledgement process is you're going to go into games and do it wrong. And that's fine. Do it wrong. But now we add a little bit of here's why it was wrong. And that's usually just my conscience telling me that play sucked because this. I go in as as Kaisa, but then I don't cleanse the enemy CC. Alrighty, that's why it was wrong. And then the practice part. Now, this is what they don't tell you in esports. You have to play the game to get better at it. So no matter how much of this stuff that you know, you are going to have to apply it. But you don't have to do it in a ranked game. Normals are super underrated nowadays, in my opinion. You can go into a normal game and totally suck and totally lose, and that's fine because you get a lot more reps of what you're trying to do, especially if it's a beginner thing. So if I haven't done a push-up in 74 years, I don't think I'm going to try to do 20 push-up competition, which would be ranked. I think I'll see if I can push myself off the ground once. And if I can't even do that, then at least I can do half of one. Or I can start myself in an upward position and then see if I can keep myself up as like I move down, something like that. So in a normal game on ADC, it's like, alrighty, I want to practice neutral. What does that look like? Standing still on Ashe instead of moving into the enemy or being too far backwards, upholding this position. And it might be maddening. You're standing there doing nothing, menacingly. So something like that. You got to practice. You got to get in game and you got to do it so that you can make the mistakes, get to the acknowledgement part, and then from that you compound experience, which is where the perfection part comes in. So whenever we have the experience building up and building up, then eventually we just get it. And once you got it, you keep it for quite some time. And even if you take a big break, you might lose it, but it's easier to get back on this road. The exact same way muscle memory works, in my opinion, with League of Legends or just any gaming. If you take big break, but you built up this muscle, it's much faster to get back there. So once you have it and you understand it, then we're really cooking. But the path there is a challenge, as you would hope. It makes it interesting, makes it meaningful. How about Nexus Blitz? It's a little bit for fun, I think playing normal with the intention to improve on something, one specific thing, just so like it's legit boring in my opinion. Like recently I wanted to learn Warwick and it's like, okay, I'm going to do like this specific jungle path 3 times in a row and see how the opener works, something like that. And then on ADC, it's like, yep, I'm gonna be not moving into the enemy's abilities this game, no matter what happens. There's also less pressure in a normal game. So many of the people I've coached recently too are like, I I did this because my team pinged me to, and I didn't want them to be mad. And like okay. But in a normal game, it's like okay, that guy's mad. He's bronze. He's unranked. Who cares? When do you know you're done with a certain skill? When you're doing it correctly and there's no thought put towards it, that's usually a good indicator. Because if there's still thought being put towards it, then you're on a intermediate part of it, I think. Because the end and the beginning are very similar. There's nothing in mind. But in the end, you're completely transformed and do things differently. In the middle is the lame part, in my opinion, like learning the thing, applying it, thinking about it while you're doing it, etc. Like the conscious shows you the mistake. So the faster you grind out that part, the sooner you can get to the end. And the end is where the fun is. But you have to go through this lame part in the middle. Like we're gonna go to Disney World, right? You have to get up and eat breakfast before you get on the rides, or else you're not gonna have that much fun when you're on the rides when you're tired because you didn't eat breakfast. Alrighty, that's my thoughts on that bad boy. Any questions? Gotta eat breakfast so you can throw it up on the rides, bro. I don't mess around at theme parks. I'm so bad. On the 40% indoor loser right part, I get not nauseous, but like all head I don't know, I get swirled up in my head if I ride one roller coaster. I'm not like, I gotta sit down, but like I'm bad. I'm doing bad. It's like if I was in a too long of a car ride. It's screwed up. Yeah, get a Mickey Mouse cookie for $14. Oh yeah. How's Aphelios? Eh. Aphelios is fine at the highest level of play, but he's super eh. Unless that's the only champion you play, you'd have better success on things like Zaya Kaisa. Cesaro heard you saying that? Oh my god. Don't swing me around, please. Somehow, being swung around like that would not be as bad as a roller coaster. I think it depends on how well the roller coasters are built. That's probably true as well. I've only gone to like theme parks on the western side of the US, so haven't gone to any fancy ones that are even close to modern. Oh, and what did I do before I get there? You guessed it. Ate like dairy and drink a coffee. That's awesome. That's a real good combination. Yep. My combo is ride a one of the roller coasters, sit down for like an hour and a half combo. Drink a ton of water. Absolutely slam water like no one's business. Euphoria Park, let's see. Oh, with the ball? GG. Why that thing looks so cool? Why do they have all these castles around it too? Theme parks are. Sorry that I missed it, but could you tell us some more about who you are? Because I'm very curious. Oh yeah, I didn't do an introduction. My bad. I'm the substitute teacher for the next couple of weeks here. Me and Rajan will be sharing that responsibilities for different days. And yeah, my name's Sawyer. I've been playing League of Legends since season 3, season 4. I hit Challenger on the first season and played on a Challenger Series team a little bit after that. Went to Korea to live with LS a little bit after that. and then have been coaching League of Legends pretty much since then, as well as personally pursuing what it means to understand, fully understand the fundamentals of playing League, because my main goal with the game was not something like pro or whatnot. It was like, I want to figure out what it means to be good at a game truly. And then that led me down the path that I ended up on. And currently maining jungle, producing jungle content, and I haven't watched much pro play this year at all. It's just not that interesting for me. But I have so many hours on, like, my real shebang in League is like one-on-one coaching. I've done classes like these before with Cloud9 training grounds. But I'm definitely not the guy of all time on them, so. But when I'm looking at gameplay, oh yeah, then we're talking. Setting up a PowerPoint. Oh. Oh my, so complicated. Outlining what the pro player should do, so easy. They have one made out of nothing but wood. I've rode roller coasters like that in Dollywood. I'd rate them 4 out of 10. What's the plan for next week? I think we could build up from here on ADC at least. Where me and Rajan will be sharing different days, we'll try to hit on similar things, but we'll see. So since we covered the mechanics today, I would say that next week we could go over what it means to win lane, or at least, well, yeah, what it means to win lane, because that would cover trading, that would cover CSing, and then that would cover basic intro to macro on ADC. So what you do after you win lane, things like that. And if you want something else, you could, now would be the time to recommend it. Are we done? Yeah, we're wrapping up. If you guys want to go, then you can feel free. Thank you for your time. Arigato. She. Gamsahamnida. Thank you very much. I hope I was of use or showed you a little bit something helpful. And I appreciate your guys' time. Best of luck in your games. Watch out for Cesaro. He's very strong. And you might meet him in the bot lane. Especially if you are... Let's see what rank he's at right now. What was his IGN again? Where is he? He has the Scion icon, okay? Keep your eyes out. And it's not Gorilla Jones. Not Gorilla Jones. He has the Scion icon. Cesaro, where are you? Naturally, he's all the way at the bottom. Did I miss it? This was a Gorilla, the Korean pro player's account whenever he came to Worlds, and geez, 2016. 2016. First captain, there he is already. Watch out for Cesaro in Bronze 3, okay? You may run into him. And his mighty and strong Rakan support, brand support. Looks like mostly Thresh Soraka. Soraka. Weakest Soraka player. Uh, By the way, we need to play Among Us sometime. I don't even own that game. Yeah, I'm a League of Legends player. How could you tell? Yeah, the coach or the fat strong man from the ring. No, Cesaro is the guy who's swinging the big guy around here. Will this be uploaded to YouTube? C. The OBS recording worked this time. Big. Or wait, upload to YouTube. I'm not sure. I give them the file. Happens. I'm new here. Just show up, do my job, get one shot in the ring. Yeah. Whoa, I'm still in practice tool. It didn't kick me out. Is this a new bug you can stay in as long as possible? All right, let's do this. Let's get max attack speed, then call it a day. A little bit of this, and there's no more items. Okay. How do we get a little bit more movement right here? Let's do Bork. Already turn on the loudest music you got. Why won't Bork? Why won't the tooltip go away? Okay, let's do this. And Twitch unstealths at 20 billion attack speed. I swear I don't have that much attack speed. What's the deal? This is like basic. Bink, 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 bink. Alright, let's get some more attack speed here. A Zeal item. Phantom Dancer. Now we're talking. Hello, friends. Look at this attack range. Jesus Christ. And then I'm pulling the enemy forward. They move forward. I stand my ground. Auto attack. Owned. Bink, bink. Moving. Moving across the neutral line. He moves into range. Bing. Owned. No lethal tempo. Yeah, yeah. Hey, PTA looks cool. Who's with me? You went LDRIE. It's because it's good. Okay. It's because it hits him and it goes shebang. Thank you for the lecture. I'll be going. Alrighty. See you guys. That's all from me. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye. ADC player 27 signing out. Bye. See ya. Thank you. Bye bye.